Hi, everyone. Welcome to this quick tutorial on how to build trust when you are a leader of a new team. So one of the things that I'm noticing is that several of you are reaching out and saying, I'm the new leader on the team. I've been promoted, which first of all, congratulations. That's something to be celebrated. But it also puts you in a position to need to build trust. And so I just want to go through these questions real quickly and then give some solutions for how to answer these questions in a way that gives you some quick wins. So there are 4 categories of questions that I believe that your team is always going to ask. It starts with connection, and they're asking things like, are you safe? Will you care about me? Do I really matter as a person? There's also the definition questions. For example, will my role be clear? Am I going to know what's expected of me? And can I have boundaries? Can I say no? Or will you be okay with me if I have a different opinion? There's integration questions like, will it be safe to admit my mistakes? Or can you handle my disappointment or my failures? And finally, collaboration. They're asking, are we really going to work together as a team, or what's it going to be like? Will I feel mutual to you, or am I going to have to engage in a one down position? So these are all questions that this new team is most likely asking of you. And so now I want to give you a couple of suggestions for how you can answer them. By the way, when I say how you can answer them, I don't mean just with words. These are going to be experiential answers, so the things that you can show them through the way that you interact with them. So if you remember, the connection questions were, are they going to matter? And I just invite you to look for ways that you can communicate that they matter to you as a person. So I've found that asking them, how are you? Or walking by their desk or sending a text that just says, hey, how's it going? Is one way to express care. I've also found that finding ways to support them in their personal life is really important. And there was one time I was able to help one of my leaders who was running out of time in her preparation for a project. And I just stepped in and started helping her. And it was something that really meant the world to her, and it changed the way that we interacted. Moving on to the definition. Those are the types of questions where your team is asking, am I going to know what's expected of me? And can I say no, or can I have a different opinion? In other words, can they be their own defined person separate from you, the leader? And so one really easy way to ensure a quick win is to have the conversation where they get to confirm their expectations as they understand them. And having that conversation often will surface the mismatches so that you can correct those. Another way to really establish a quick win is to model boundaries. Show them that you don't expect them to work 80 hours a week, that you're saving time for rest and for refilling. You can also really impact this area by celebrating different opinions when they are able to bring a new perspective. Then if you can celebrate that, not necessarily accepting it as a final answer, but celebrating it and then inviting other different perspectives, it can really go a long way. And now let's just keep moving clockwise down to integration. Remember, these are the questions where people are wondering, do I have to be perfect to be accepted here? And what if I do make a mistake? How is that going to be treated? And so one of the ways that you can answer these questions is to be the first to admit your mistake. We're all going to make them. And when you can show that it's okay for mistakes to be made, it's more important how we respond to those mistakes, then that's going to break the ice for your team. When a mistake is made by someone else, then their question is actually tied back to connection. And they're wondering, am I still okay relationally? So if you, as the team leader, can move toward them and affirm that connection hasn't changed, then you're essentially building the foundation for trust in one of the most powerful ways you can. A final way that you can get a quick win in the integration category is by entering in to the grief process with your team. Now, some of you might be thinking, why do we need to grieve? What I mean by that is that you are going to experience setbacks. It's always going to happen. And if you can gather your team together and grieve it, process the emotions, the disappointment, the anger maybe together, then neurologically, that's actually going to help break down the emotions that your brain is processing. And it will also create this bond between the members of your team because they have now experienced the truth that you can handle disappointment, that you're not afraid of it, and that it's not too overwhelming. Okay, let's move on to collaboration. So when collaborating, again, this team, they know each other possibly, but they don't know you. And they know what it's like to work with each other, but they don't know what it's like to have a new leader. And so they're wondering, how is this going to go? And so one of the best ways that you can get started is to invite all voices to contribute from the very beginning. Now, some will have no problem chiming in, and others will probably hold back. And an invitation will go a long way. And so one of the best things that I've learned to do. Then there's just the really simple structural, I guess, for lack of a better word, techniques that you can sit and be eye level with your team versus standing when speaking. Sitting around a table or avoiding the head of the table position so that it creates more of a mutual working environment. Another way that you can encourage collaboration is just, again, celebrating all contributions. You will already have invited everyone to contribute, and you don't have to celebrate the content of all contributions, but make it known that you're glad people are engaging the process, because it takes all of these, and even bad ideas often move us to good ideas. And then if you're really daring, you can ask others to actually lead the meeting. And this shows that you don't need to have the authority or the power, and it can make a huge difference on a new team. So these are just a few of the ways that you can engage these 4 core capacity areas to help build trust on a new team. And if you have any questions or would like any extra conversation about how this might apply to you and your team, just reach out and we can have a conversation. All right, thanks so much for joining me. I'll talk to you later. Bye.